welcome to another episode of 3 weeks. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 P's on the pod. I am one of your hosts today, Kelly B. That's me.
JametriceThomas.
And L.B Shari.
And no, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. We do have the same thing on. We are feminists in the same thing in the same day. And I'm sorry, I am not about to waste no laundry money and no detergent just so y'all eyeballs can look at a different shirt. You will be okay. Get this content. Thank you for sticking around. In the meantime, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Tell your friends about us. Follow us on our social medias. We'll put it down below. But thank you guys for tuning in with us today again. How y'all doing, ladies, on this 2 episode stretcher today? We got going.
We gonna make it.
We could do it. We could do it.
We pulling through.
I have a trip next week, and then LB will be going out of town as well. We got to get ours in too. We got to get our, fun in the sun, our breaks in as well. But we still gonna keep still tuning in.
I'm gonna try to make this LA. I'm gonna try to make it look like I was on a trip too. One of these days. I'm gonna go stand by some water and put on.
Girl, you got all kind of beaches out there.
Yeah, that is true. You right on.
Get comfortable in the now when you start living in the state, it don't even seem like you.
It's not. You're not anywhere. You at home working.
I feel like I'm just at home. I ain't nowhere, but I'm gonna join the I'm gonna join the fam.
All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into this first topic today. Okay, so apparently this there was an influence of one Ebonee Davis. Now, she was a former alum of America's Next Top Model. I had never seen an episode. I think I probably clocked out watching America's Next Top Model a long time ago before I knew of this girl. But anywho, Miss Ebonee Davis has become a little viral due to her missing out on a 5-figure deal because of some content she posted. Now, Miss Ebonee Davis, I'm gonna show you a picture of the content that she posted. Now, she was fired on August 12th due to this content being a little bit more explicit than the company that hired her, which she did not disclose, cared for. Now, this is what Ebonee posted to her Instagram, and she said, oh, I'm sorry. Also, it was posted with the caption under it saying, "My nigga took these." Now, she lost out on the deal because they said that they felt like it was just inappropriate and did not represent what their company wanted, what their company wanted in their representation. And this is the response that Ebonee had, which made me go, girl, what? Just watch.
That Black content creators face.
Well, I'm gonna start it over, y'all. Sorry.
To take a minute to discuss the harsh reality that Black content creators face. I recently lost out on a 5-figure brand deal for posting this picture with this caption. Nowhere in the contract were there any stipulations given around what kind of content I could post, except for the branded content, which would be approved by the company. As for my personal content, nothing was said. After posting that picture and posting that caption, I received a phone call from my agent saying that the company thought it was inappropriate. And I just want to take a second to unpack that. When I read that caption, I read a playful articulation of the love I have for my man. It's been generally agreed upon by the Black community for decades that the N-word isn't derogatory, it's a term of endearment. And that brings us to the photo. Yet again, when I look at this picture, I see playfulness. I see a Black girl living her best life, having fun. There's nothing inappropriate about it to me, especially not in the world we live in today. For centuries, Black women's bodies have been scrutinized, they've been picked apart, they've been deemed unworthy, they've been deemed inappropriate, and this is yet again an extension of that rhetoric. It's the hypersexualization of the Black female body which has led to this very conversation. The only way someone else could deem this as inappropriate is if they projected their sexual desires onto me, or if they projected their underlying judgments onto me, which is what we call prejudice. Now, typically I would brush that off and say that's a you problem, but it becomes a me problem because it threatens my livelihood, just the same way these systems of oppression have threatened the livelihood of Black women for centuries. Furthermore, you want access to my audience, which is mostly Black women, without actually having a full appreciation for Black culture. Why is it that what's considered appropriate or professional is always adjacent to whiteness? You want the activist part of me that's articulate and intelligent, but that's just one side of my Black girl magic. Because the other side of me knows how to turn up and throw this ass. And that's what I'm gonna do. We don't have to separate who we are in order to please these companies. We don't have to erase or hide any aspect of our personality in order to get these bags. If you can't handle me at my back that ass up, you don't deserve me after I have a dream.
And that is what Miss Ebonee Davis had to say about that one there now. What do you ladies think about that? Do you feel as though she was wrongfully, terminated from her contract? And is this a dig to Black women everywhere on the sexualization and whatnots? What y'all think?
Go ahead, girl.
The F of all. Don't use us as Black women as your way to try to say that somebody else did us wrong. No, ma'am. No, the hell, ma'am. Because first of all, you were doing the most on your own. Everybody knows when you have a contract with some of these other countries that are not, Black based or whatever else. And some of the Black companies will do you the same way. You have to stay within a certain type of what we hired you for. We don't want you out here embarrassing us or our brand. If our brand markets to several different type of people and you are doing something that brand does not stand behind, yes, ma'am, you're going to get fired. It happens. Every day people get fired for the same thing on social media, doing stupid stuff. Your job sees it and they fire you because you're embarrassing them. Don't use me as a Black woman and say this is a hypersexualization of Black women. First of all, you the one with your booty all out on Instagram. Don't get mad and try to say they hypersexualized. No, you hypersexualized yourself when you got on here with your booty hanging out with this fishnet, whatever that was. Because number one, it was tacky anyway. It wasn't even cute. Okay, first of all, I'm talking about this is what I see. It's a love for my man. Ma'am, we don't see your man nowhere in the picture. So we don't even know your man exists. Okay, first of all, so it's not from no love. It has to do with love from your man. Because did Kelly B, did you see a man in that picture?
No.
I did not. So if I did not see the man, I don't see this picture as being love for your man. And you are talking about, we have all decided that the N-word is okay. First of all, I know some people do say the N-word. I don't say the word. I used to say it back in high school until I had a whole education lesson from a teacher. I do not use the word. So number one, don't say we all have accepted. No, you have accepted that it's okay. Not everybody in our culture even believes it's okay to use the word. So yes, when you're in public and you're using that word with a company that does not agree with it, guess what they're going to do? They're going to fire you because it's not content that they agree with. And the fact that she is trying to make herself seem like she just woke and intelligent and she is using us to further her shenanigans because she got fired, ma'am, got nothing to do with me. Nothing whatsoever to do with me. And number two, I don't even know who she is from Top Model. Maybe because Top Model stopped being hot in 2004. And she was probably from 2019 or somewhere. Nobody was watching it past Eva.
Okay.
So, girl, sit down. Please sit down. If I had a chair, I'll put it on the screen. Sit down. Girl, she done made me irritable. Go ahead.
I was thinking she was already, but she ruffled your feathers. So I was like, I don't get it, girl. You then turn the crack of your ass to us and talk about everybody else over sexualizing you. Well, why show your ass? Like, why are you showing that part of your bum? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how people try to sound
out.
You know how people try to sound intelligent, but really sound dumb and end up making
it. Mr. Mark. That's
That's what, because I just didn't know what she was talking about. Like, girl, you doing
from that reach.
You're doing everything that, like, you're doing what they don't want you to do, and you're trying to make it like, oh, but y'all doing this. No, you're doing that, and we don't want you to do that. And like And if I can't show, if you can't have me at my back that ass up, why do people feel like they always got to show they butt? Like, why do you feel like everything has to be sexualized? You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a brand deal that I'm hiring you for. Your page, I'm sure you got a bunch of booty pictures. You see what I'm saying? Why for this do you need to have that? Why? Like, everything all content don't have to have that. And that to me didn't look like that was something I would want to buy. You know what I mean? It's like, I would want to see if somebody's going to be modeling something of mine, I want to see it in the best way possible. You know what I mean? And the best way you can make it as possible, because I am, you know what I mean? Because I am trying to use your following, because that's what they're doing. Like, they do go out for people that have a bigger following, and they're trying to build their brand and up their stuff. I look for you because I liked your content, I like your look, and you have a bigger following. But I still want you to respect my wishes and respect my brand. And you can go do your own thing. If you want to wear the outfit again and show it up in it. But if I ask you for something, especially if I'm paying you for something, because it was another apparel company that I came across a video of a girl. It didn't look like it needed to be ironed, but they wanted to make sure that she was in something like she ironed and pressed their outfit, because you're representing me. Right. Now, I don't know if they stated that in the beginning, but definitely these brand companies have to state what their desires are and what they're looking for, especially if I'm going to pay you. Although you have the following and although you can help me with my business, I'm still paying you for a service that I should be able to have, like how I want it, And as far as the GG with the A, I guess, you know what I mean? I gotta stop myself from saying that. I be wanting to not saying that, but they didn't embedded that sometimes in their vocabulary, and it come out, and I don't be wanting to say it all the time, but I say it sometimes. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna lie, I say it, but I be like, dang, I gotta stop saying that word. But yeah.
She actually had the nerve to say if they can't take her back, that who asked for that, ma'am?
Thank you. My thing was, first of all, like I said, her arm must really be hurting from that reach. It really must be hurting from that reach. You had a brand deal. First of all, they're over sexualizing me. If your booty out with some fishnets on, I'm sorry, you don't look like a preschool teacher, girl. I don't. What do you mean they're over sexualizing me? You did that purposefully, suggestive pose, and then you put my nigga took this. They never stated in the contract what they wanted. You know what professionalism is.
No,
You are fully aware that, and it is within, like you said, LB, is within they right as somebody who paid you and contracted you to do a certain something, for them to have people that represent their company, and for them to decide if you no longer represent what I want my brand to represent, I am allowed to not employ you anymore, because you are now not fulfilling, you're not what my brand needs to represent. But then you want to come in and you want to drag, she did a Monique, where it's like, oh, all of us, this is all about all of us as Black women. No, this about you. You did something stupid and you thought they was just gonna overlook it and not care, and it turns out that
she ain't got no real claim.
You say what?
She ain't got no real claim.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you just trying to sound intelligent and smart, and you sound dumb because you did something that they didn't like. And instead of you sucking it up and taking it, you want to make a whole post about it and so we can understand you. No, we understand them.
No, what it was is she missing that money, which means she was having some financial difficulties.
She said,
and she really needed that little 5 figures. And now I wonder what kind of 5 figures we talking. We talking like 10,000, 20, or we talking more like 90? Because she sound like she really hurt, like she butt hurt, for real. Yeah, they let her go.
They over sexualize. If you can't take me at this, don't take me at that. They decided not to, ma'am. Now what?
They decided not to take you. You're right. We don't have to take you. You're correct.
So now very correct. I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be fine.
They will find another brand ambassador that will do what they want to keep their figure deal, whatever 5-figure deal they gave. But I'm so upset that she tried to use us for her cause. Honey, bye. Bye-bye.
I couldn't believe, I didn't even know when I saw that. And I'm gonna be honest. Oh, shout out to, and I will put I'll send the information about him. Shout out to Black Code, Black Code, I believe it was, that actually showed me this post and had me commented on one of his pages. He actually brought it to my attention. So shout out, subscriber of ours, friend to the show. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, the Black Code.
Appreciate it.
Like
All right.
being on that Peapod.
I know, right? Speaking of foolery, y'all, why these pastors out here wilding? Why they out here wilding? So
they're not real pastors.
Right. Everybody could be ordained. Everybody could be called upon to say the Lord's word. I suggest. Well, this pastor here, he had a different kind of word for his congregation there. Mr. Hold on, let me pull him up here. Sorry, y'all. We're gonna cut this out. I told you I'll be having my little screenshots and then it be going away.
While she's doing that, Jametrice, what are you drinking out of your cup right there? You on mute, honey. We can't hear you. You on mute, Michi.
Lemon, coffee, and hot water.
That sounds very disgusting. I'm not even lying.
Right, nothing added. It definitely, it's for weight loss, but
I just feel like lemon and coffee are two very harsh, like they're very strong flavors. And so I wonder how that tastes together.
You want to taste it?
No, ma'am.
You should. I mean, it's not
My
so bad.
grandmama told me coffee stunt your growth.
Girl, yours is already stunted.
Okay. Y'all get treated in the Peapod, just so y'all know.
The little smallest one in the Peapod, look. So it's okay for you to drink some now. No, but I mean, you know how you see trends on stuff. I seen this trend, I started, and it works. Like I've noticed that. You know what? No, I mean it doesn't make me. They say coffee makes you go straight to the bathroom, but my bad.
I'll go eventually. All right, so this pastor here, Mr. Carlton, I don't know why I can't never say Carlton, Funderburk, a senior pastor at Church at the Well, had a few choice words for his congregation here. You know, they was rubbing him the wrong way. He felt some kind of way about him. God dog. Hold on, let me pull it up. It never comes all the way through. Where'd it go? Okay, here it is.
That's how I know you still poor, broke, busted, and disgusted, because of how you've been honoring me. I'm not worth your McDonald's money. Come on. Come on.
Hello.
I'm not worth your Red Lobster money.
Oh.
I ain't worth your St. John knit. Y'all can't afford it no how.
Oh.
I ain't worth y'all Louis Vuitton. I ain't worth your Prada. I'm not worth your Gucci.
It's in the background. Come on.
Mother, I'm saying this, and I promise you, Deacon, it's not with respect of want. I'm saying it because I want you to understand just what God is saying. I even found out that Movado, you can buy a Movado watch in Sam's. Yes, you can.
Yes,
and y'all know I asked for one last year. Here it is the whole way in August. I still ain't got it. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Let me kick down the door and talk to my cheap sons and daughters.
He said he asked for a watch last year and he still ain't got one. What's taking y'all so long? They sell it over at the Sam's Club. Broke, busted, and disgusted.
What Movado watches, I mean, so it's different class of when you start to get some money. You know what I'm saying? So, like, at first, depending on, like, you know, if you ain't rich or whatever, what it was like the Michael Kors, the gas type of fossil. And then it's like, I mean, I don't know all the watches, but I got me a little Movado. I mean, but then, you know, I guess when you get a little bit more money, maybe it'll be a little Gucci. You know, something else, I don't know. But who want to take?
But what y'all think about him? He said he asked for one. He ain't worthy of your Louis, your Movados. What's up with these preachers these days trying to get a come up off their congregation?
First of all, you done stole all our money. Got your hair swinging around like drop the mic Eddie Murphy on.
Oh my gosh! Did you see
Sexual chocolate?
Sexual chocolate got to look like a. Wait,
I
did
did that hit at the.
And I did here go. You done stole all our money down at the congregation, down to that bowl that y'all we pass around, and you dressed to the T. And then you got to turn around and call us broke. Talking about your broke folks. You got all the money. That's what killed me about some of these pastors, especially like the one that was dressed down in the Gucci. What was it? Is it Kim Burrell? She was hollering folks was broke too. Because after y'all done got y'all money and now y'all feeling y'all self, and after y'all done stole everybody money is when Kim Burrell ain't a pastor or whatever, but
Kim Burrell the one that was calling people ugly, right?
She probably was.
She was like, "It's okay, you ugly." It's like, "Some y'all musty."
And see, and it just this is why people don't like the church. Like they don't like to go to the place that's supposed to be the house of God, because you got these now we all sinners, but you got these worshipers that's supposed to be telling us about ourselves. It's supposed to become as you are, you're supposed to be accepted, but yet if they come as you are, you want to call them ugly and broke. And why is that even a significance in the church setting? Like, as far as us following what we deem as the will of God and stuff like that, first of all, I things I be going through, like I had a friend tell me like, "Oh, that was a little bad luck." And I'm like, bad luck. In this life, we are gonna go through stuff. You're not just gonna some people may not go through everything that somebody else go through, but the people that die in a crash, that's bad luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a part of life. You know what I mean? We're gonna live and die. Now, granted, some things in our life that we probably haven't been awarded because of the things we do. Who knows? You see what I'm saying? But it's a lot of people that are awarded money, and they out here worshiping the devil. So is that really
asking his congregation for that?
Wait. What he
was saying about how, oh, y'all got money for that Louis, y'all got money for this. He literally said, but I've been asking for a Movado since last year, and I ain't got one yet.
So he want them to buy him some.
Right. Yeah. So that was the thing. So the thing about it for me was, this is the perfect example of what they call false prophets. Mm-hmm. So you got these false prophets, and that's the thing. Like, I am a Christian, but the problem is that some people make us look so bad and so hypocritical that you don't get mad at people sometimes. They're like, "I don't believe in church." Like, I understood. It wasn't until I was older and I understood the concept. People say, "I am Christian, but I'm not religious," because what they're saying is, "I believe, but the stuff that those folks be doing up in there, I ain't with." And I get it, because you got people like him. I know you didn't worry about Red Lobster. Y'all got Red Lobster money. Everybody know Red Lobster is not expensive.
Okay, it might be business.
That was like when we was
back in the day. Red Lobster was expensive, but not now. We got jobs now to pay us real money. Red Lobster ain't even what we talking.
Go downtown to the nice restaurants and pay them.
Right, but why you checking for everything that your congregation doing? Because you mad about, I asked for my Movado last year. They sold at the Sam's Club, and you ain't gave me one yet.
Put it in the collection plate.
First of all, I don't have to give you anything. Your gift is the fact that you are getting to minister from the Lord to me. That is the only gift that you are supposed to be getting from me. Now, if I decide I want to be nice and buy you something, you can take that. But don't ask me about no Movado watch. Don't ask me about how I went to Red Lobster and I didn't put nothing in the collection plate. Because listen, you sound like the trifling person that you are. And the fact that lady in the background with the, come on now, come on.
Come on. Gallery. She was at the Sam's Club trying to get that watch.
And
no, she wasn't, because she didn't buy it.
Low-key high.
She didn't buy it.
Like, that's how some of the people, it's crazy. Like, you'd be amazed. Like, some of those people covet they pastors like crazy. And somebody would legit up in there be like, well, y'all know Pastor do deserve this. All right, who want to put in? No,
but they didn't buy them Movado watch last year, though. Nobody bought it.
I grew up in the Mormon church. And I mean, I say this because, you know, it's a lot of stigma behind the church. But what I will say is what I liked about that church and what I mean, you know, I grew up in it. It's not something I chose when I was younger, but my mom is no longer part of necessarily that faith because she don't want to follow false prophets. But what I did like what they did with the money is, first of all, they don't pass a collection plate. They have an envelope that you do on your own time, but they have food banks, like storages, houses or whatever, that has groceries, sanitary needs, household needs, that if you need it, if you are a member of the church and you don't have a vehicle, somebody will do your order. You know what I mean? You go to the bishop and you say what you need and he'll fill it out. Somebody will do your order and they'll drop it off to your home. If your family member needs food, because we have done that for our family, where we did food orders for them and whatever household needs, sanitary needs, and we picked it up and gave it to them. A lot of the money goes to helping the congregation. You know what I'm saying? They pay your rent. Now I ain't saying people go join the church because like they go pay my rent, but they have paid rent. They have paid some of our family's bills. You know what I mean? Light bills, like whatever type of bill that they need. If we was like a member,
give and don't be asked.
But that's what the whole like you have different type of offerings, like the benevolent versus, you know, the tithes. I get it. And that's for the congregation.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying.
But this dude blatantly asked you for what?
They selling that.
We knew where, and if you didn't give money, you know, especially if you didn't have it, 10% of, they say it's 10% of what you bring home, right? 10% of nothing is nothing. So if you didn't have it, and you know what I mean, it wasn't like nobody was going, she ain't been paying her tax. Nobody sees what you're doing anyway. You see what I'm saying? But it was this lady here I used to hear, because I used to tell her that our bishops with our church, they don't get payment. They work jobs. I have been around them. They work jobs. They go to work every day and they work jobs. You are, you know, this is a gift that you didn't get from God. You know what I mean? You are stepping into this position to minister to us and to whomever. You know what I mean? So you shouldn't get payment, but you just be like, pastor got to have some money. You got to pay pastor the money. And I'm like, okay, so that was
but that's not just Mormon though. Like I've been AME and Baptist, and my pastors had jobs, so that's not it. It's about whether or not they doing it for the right reason.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, she felt like you should. She felt like
no, pastor's anniversary, you get that good old love offering. If it ain't pastor's anniversary, player, this goes to the building fund. It goes to make sure we actually have full walls,
more structures, more. Shoot, I went to camp. We never paid for camp when I was growing up. I took some of my friends to camp. They didn't have to pay for anything. I've been to, we have, you know what I mean? So it goes for a lot of things. So being able to see where your money going versus just giving the pastor money so the pastor could get that Movado.
Right.
Or bad.
He wasn't got no Movado from me.
Well, I guess he had a had a little come to Jesus moment, so to speak, because after it went viral, he has issued an apology. Like here you go.
I'm the senior pastor of Church of the Well right here in Kansas City, Missouri. I want to take this moment to address the now viral video clip of me from a sermon given August the 7th, 2022. Though there is context behind the content of the clip, no context will suffice to explain the hurt and anguish caused by my words. I've spoken to those I am accountable to and have received their correction and instruction. I have also privately apologized to our church, who has extended their love and support to me. I'm privileged to do life with them. The video clip does not reflect my heart or my sentiments toward God's people, yet that's not discernible in the clip.
No, it's not.
Therefore, I offer this sincere apology to you today. No context could erase the words I used. I apologize to all who have been hurt, angered, or in any way damaged by my words. The zeal of any presentation must be tempered with love and respect, and that was not displayed. I apologize to the church at large for any undue scrutiny I have subjected you to. I apologize to every preacher and pastor who must stand up under the controversy that I have caused.
Hallelujah.
All right. So what you think about his apology? Kind of well
Somebody
written,
wrote that for him.
Yeah, I was about to say kind of well written. You know,
Shut up.
Somebody else wrote it for him.
And then you like, I knew something was swinging in his head. Like I see them little curls. You like, the clip that went viral 2 days ago. Like,
so in other words, if he hadn't never went viral, he would have never took it back. It's the fact that somebody recorded him and put him on the internet.
Ain't that usually how it go? Nobody ever says like, you know, it's like, well, y'all caught me.
Basically, that's what he said though. In the clip that went viral on August 7th, 2022.
I remember like it was yesterday. Let me tell you something, Pastor Carlton. Don't sit your behind some down. I'm surprised those people are following you because I don't see how people can't look at somebody and be like, you a fraud.
But just like old boy. And you know what? Speaking of old boy, as far as like frauds, there was an old woman that had a little bit of an observation. So in case y'all didn't know about what's that pastor, the Brooklyn pastor that was robbed during his live sermon, and for y'all that didn't see a little bit of it, I got a little clip from ABC 7 News of the alleged robbery.
A bishop in Brooklyn was robbed at gunpoint in the middle of a church service.
Hold on, y'all. Sorry, technical difficulties. Don't know why it ain't going in there. Here we go. Let's try that again. Right.
A bishop in
Oh my God, what happened?
See if it'll pop up, and then when it starts actually showing the video, just reverse it. Reverse.
A bishop in Brooklyn was robbed at gunpoint in the middle of a church service. The crime was caught on the church's live stream yesterday. Bishop Lamor Whitehead says 3 men with guns stole hundreds of...
No, it won't come up. Okay, well, I'll just say that, you know, pastor was robbed, and he was allegedly robbed of $1.1 million of jewelry. But a young woman on TikTok observed something that was a little bit off about pastor as of late. Let's see if this is the first one.
Thinks we're stupid. This man thinks we're idiots. This is the bishop at his sermon here 1 week after his robbery. I noticed something strange about this picture when I saw it. Do you see it? Do you see it? Here he is the day of the robbery. Oh. Do you see it? No. You notice what's on his hand? It was so nice of those robbers to return that ring to him. Especially considering it must be his favorite ring. I mean, he must have some sort of attachment to it. I've never seen him wear anything else. It must have tremendous sentimental value. Or maybe it's the only damn ring he owns. I think it's officially time to tag the NYPD and the FBI in this video. You know what? Let's go ahead and tweet this video to Mayor Eric Adams while we're at it.
So that ring was one of the items that he was claiming was stolen by the robbers. And I wanted to play the video because I wanted to show y'all the video of how when the robbery even happened, there was a dude that was literally like on the side right here that didn't move an inch when the robbery went down.
I want to try to see this video one more time. Where the video is?
Yeah, because I'll tell you, this dude ain't moved not an inch. Let me see if I can.
Dollars worth
I have a question about why Pastor has 1.1 million of jewelry on him.
Between him and his wife, they had 1.1 of jewelry. Oh, but she has a second video because people were like, "Oh no, that's an oval ring that he has on right now."
Oh,
the one he had before was a square one, and then she explains that part as well.
During the robbery, with his hand at the angle it was at, thinks we're... No, I'm telling you, it's all about the angle. Like if you have him standing where he was standing during the robbery, with his hand at the angle it was at during the robbery, look.
It looks
See? You cannot tell me that that's not the same ring. You see how the gem is like raised and rounded around the edges? Yeah, it makes an optical illusion. So when you hold it at certain angles, it looks rounded. If it was flat, like inlaid all on one surface, then it would always look square. But it's not going to always look square because it's raised.
So I was like, okay, that's the point. So
All
yeah,
right, private
he miraculously got his ring back. I think we all knew though that.
Here's the thing.
He wasn't being all the way right about that story.
The crazy thing is there used to be a saying that one of my family members used to say all the time, and it's in the Bible, and I couldn't tell you. I don't be Bible thumping quite like that.
Matthew 16.
So I can't tell you this verse, but it says something about it will be harder. It's the hard for a rich person something make it into heaven than it is to thread. It's something I can't remember exactly the verse. But that's what I'm saying. Between a pastor and his wife, why do you have $1.1 million worth of things to steal on your person at one given time? That lets me know that you are not giving enough to the community because your community around you cannot. How could you have that much of jewelry or something on that someone could rob you?
Because he robbed other people. You know, he had the one allegedly where he robbed one of his parishioners of $90,000 of her money, talking about something he was going to invest it.
I thought it was them people that was trying to get their money back and ran up on there and said, "Give my stuff back, you stole."
You sure?
I don't care if I am at the church. We about to go back in and get our stuff back that he just stole because he got all this stuff you're wearing in front of our face.
And what minister dresses like the pimp from a player's ball?
I told you, anytime I hear, and don't get me wrong, I'm unaffiliated and not to talk mess about anybody's religion, but I ain't gonna lie. When I hear somebody, I swear, when I hear somebody say that they a pastor, all I hear is Akon in the background going, "Come man, come man, come." That's all I hear. I don't be trusting it. I don't.
Nowadays with these new ministers, like I think Jametrice said earlier, anybody can be ordained nowadays. Literally, you could go on the internet and become an ordained minister all of a sudden. It's very problematic to me the fact that you literally can walk around with $1.1 million worth of things on you to quote unquote be robbed of. Like, I can't understand what could you actually really be doing in the community that you could be robbed on that much. Who wears that much? Even celebrities, unless they go into like some type of big award ceremony, they ain't even wearing that much. What is wrong with you?
It's like, who you trying to show out to? You're right. I'd be scared too anyway. That somebody knock me upside my head while I'm walking down the street.
And I
just thinking that it was.
You probably stole it from the parishioners anyway.
Sure did. You already know. All right. So to move on to some more foolery here. Daniel Cameron. I don't even know. It's Daniel Cameron, former Kentucky Attorney General, was given a speech earlier this month. As you all may know, he is currently running for the governor of Kentucky for 2023. So he decided to give a little speech, and in the wake of, well, if you don't know who Daniel Cameron is,
You had it on right the first time. Go ahead.
He was the former, or is he still? He's still currently, I believe, the Attorney General for Kentucky, and he decided that there was not reason to prosecute the officers on that fateful night that killed Breonna Taylor in her home, even though the FBI saw fit to open up a case. He, as the Attorney General, didn't feel as though there was enough to open up a case. So when he decided to give his speech the other day, the audience spoke, and this is what they say.
And we help rebuild. We cry together and we laugh together and we pick each other up. And that's what I've seen during the devastation left by the tornadoes and the floods.
If y'all hear, the audience is chanting Breonna Taylor, Breonna Taylor, Breonna Taylor while he trying to give his speech. Now,
you talk about hurricanes. Listen.
This dude, and at first I'm like, when I heard the things that he said about the reasons why he did not want to pursue a case against actually it was no reason given, honestly, besides, oh, there's no case. There's no reason to do that. I don't see why there's any reason to do that. That's because he been wanting to run for Kentucky governor for a while. And when it comes to Kentucky, that's a little bit of a touchy state. So you got to make sure you fit the status quo like this. Like this. You got to be a man of the people. You got to be Kuna Roman in order for you to get into them positions. There is no way Kentucky, if you were to speak out and say this is wrong,
but
that's right. He got to play that palm hand for you. What y'all think about that?
Demetrius, you can have it.
Any thoughts?
I mean, we see who he is, and you understand why, And them people in the crowd didn't care what he was talking about. Breonna, because you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? And look, leave Kentucky now. Not like, I don't know. It's just, when you show who you riding for, you know what I'm saying, and who you here for, nobody want to hear what you're talking about. It's not valid. Nobody, I don't care. I just, you know what I mean, gone with your little family.
That's why I say it's those things where it's like, oh, it's important for Black people to be in positions of power in certain spots, but they got to be working for Black people too. It's a lot of Black people ain't working for Black people.
And I can't stand that when they try to they so scared to break the norm or to go against the grain. It's like
they want their own.
Right. And then it just shows what you're really doing it for. You're not really doing it for Black folks or for any real justice or anything. You're doing it for just the image that it provides you and the look that it provides you. You want this cookie cutter look and people to vote for you and do all this other stuff. And like she said, this is who you're appealing to. Not this, but this. So if I could wave my hand the opposite way. LB.
Any comments?
I really feel like I wish my screen had just froze and I just could stay that way. Because I have nothing for him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The fact that you could justify the shenanigans and say why you're not going to prosecute them. And then you're over here, you don't even take the time to really even give a real explanation. Instead, you want to sit here and talk about goddamn hurricanes and everything else. Then you got the people are speaking. When the people are speaking to you like that, that's the perfect time when you want to run for office for you to address what they are concerned about. But instead of doing that, you literally paddle on whatever stupid speech you would give them that nobody cared about, and just continue to just go. And what person do you know that's a politician will let a crowd chant a completely different topic like that and not go off script and say, hey, let me go ahead and address this so I can at least get the people on my side? But in his head, there's more of these in Kentucky than there are of these. So he don't care what y'all talking about because y'all not in Kentucky.
Right.
You don't get none out of me. You right. Leave that little name just the way it was.
Let Daniel Cam Coonaroon keep on Coonarooning up over there. All right. So I had an experience where my mom, she gave us some tickets. I honestly forgot about this, but I went to a show with my son because you have to be 18 and over, and it was the Live, Laugh, Love tour. Shout out to an Ace Metaphor. This is his second time around during the tour. Those are some of his lovely guests. We'll have to put the names down below. I was trying to find, it's not a lot of information stuck out there for this show, but it was actually a nice little show where they had a little bit of comedy, little bit of slam poetry going on, and then they also had discussion questions, and I thought that was actually pretty cool, where everyone will have on their seat that young man Ace Metaphor right there in the middle in the red. He runs this Live, Laugh, Love poetry tour, and he has this game where he has a series of cards, and maybe I'll send we'll put the picture of the cards in post. I actually bought a couple where they ask questions that are kind of like conversational pieces. One woman, he asked questions from the audience, and I thought it was interesting. One woman asked the question of, how do you get rid of soul ties? Now, if some of you don't know what soul ties is, I actually tried to look it up as far as what soul ties. I have my own opinion about soul ties, but I do have one. I thought it was a good definition of soul ties here. Soul ties, a spiritual, emotional connection you have to someone after being intimate with them, usually engaging in sexual intercourse to the point that when you want to be rid of them from your mind and your life, even when you are far away from them and out of their presence, you still feel as if they are a part of you and a part of you is with them, causing you to feel unwhole, as if you've given up some of yourself, untangible, that cannot be easily possessed again. So what do you guys think about the subject of soul ties? Have you ever been in a soul tie, if you care to say, or not? And how do you suggest that you get rid of those soul ties? Thoughts?
Demetrius, you can have it.
Girl, yeah, we're gonna hear your little soul ties. No, I'm saying. Do I believe in soul ties? I believe in them, yes, because I feel like I'm still trapped in one. Have you ever been in a relationship? Look, y'all know me. Have you ever been in a relationship where you ever had to pray and ask God, if you believe, to please release me of this person, please? So I don't want to love him no more. Let me go. Let me stop thinking about him. Is that just me? Yeah. Okay. We'll get to you in a minute. Okay. Well, that has been me for years now. But it did start making me look into like whatever I was feeling, because I had never heard of a soul tie. I wouldn't say I didn't hear of soul mates, but it did start making me look into just whatever I was feeling and whatever I felt like was attached. So when I did come across the definition of soul tie, I was like, dang, I'm feeling that exact same way. I feel that like when I'm not around this person, I can still feel him. Like I can feel his energy. It was just the weirdest thing, because I never had felt that like with somebody else before. So I was just like, why can't I let go of this person? And I started looking up ways how to get rid of him. Like, you know what I mean? And the soul tie, break the soul tie. Like, and sometimes I feel like it broke. What you say, girl? Speak up. Hey, what you said, little mama? Huh?
Age it. I said put some sage on it.
Oh. So I'm like, so it was, I definitely think they exist. I think I felt it before. I mean, I've heard some soul ties, or whether they're not supposed to be good necessarily. But I do think you could, like, when you engage with people, you start to carry their energy with them. Different people, some people you probably could let go, and some people are just still lingering on. But I mean, I'll come back to it. I want to hear what she say.
What, me or Leo?
I think she's talking about you.
I want to hear what you say too, because you said you had your own opinion on it. But it's your world, girl.
Yeah, no way. I want to hear what Leo got to say first.
Because I can talk to y'all all day about the soul ties.
LB don't have anything to say. Honestly, I mean, I've heard of soul ties. I don't think I've ever had necessarily a soul tie per se to anybody. The first time I heard the concept of soul ties is when somebody tried to link it to something. Have you guys ever heard of telegeny? Telegeny, I think is how you pronounce it. It's the concept of a woman. No, telegeny. It's a concept of because I was in undergrad. This girl did a paper on it, and it was so funny because our teacher like pretty much told her he wasn't gonna give her a grade for the paper because it wasn't a legit scientific thing. But it's the concept of a woman having a baby and the baby actually looking like her ex or having traits of her ex. And there is these scientific things that say supposedly that and it's not really ever been really scientifically proven. Let's say you have an ex, and this is just under the concept that let's say you have an ex, you had sex, and you didn't have any contraceptive on him, if you get what I'm saying. He didn't have a condom on. And so they're saying that these men leave behind genetic pieces of themselves, or a man leaves behind genetic pieces of himself every time you have sex with them. So even though you may have moved on, it may have been years since you've been with this person, you had sex with somebody else, you got pregnant, but then your child comes out looking like your ex.
Nah, he still left the room.
And they're saying it's because science is saying it happens in animals supposedly, where the woman's uterus in her womb will carry traits of her ex with them. And so when the baby is born, the baby will have genetic traits of her ex, even though she hasn't been with this person for years, because it stays in her body. So when the girl gave this paper, and that's when I first learned, she was like, because she gave her report in class, the teacher was like, there's no scientific proof of that. So that was like my first, and then she was like, it's like soul ties. And I was like, huh. So that's why I was laughing when you were reading the soul ties, because it made me think about the girl. Because she was talking about, you've never seen a baby that someone has and it looks like their ex, and they've never, and I was like, huh.
If
So
it looks
that's
like
what it
the
makes
exes,
me think
probably
of.
the exes.
Well, no,
I
these are
mean,
like literally people that these people may even be passed on, and they've not even been allowed to even have. But they're saying supposedly your body carries the genetic markers of people that you're previously with, and so I was like, that's the whole. So I think the concept of a soul tie can also, if they can prove it genetically and scientifically, it could actually be linked to other things. So I think a soul tie could actually be a legit thing that's like literally a scientific thing. It's just that when they call it telegeny, they didn't actually have a way, and the concept of telegeny actually went back to Aristotle's time. So he
yeah,
was saying back then that was a possibility. So the concept of a soul tie is probably an actually scientific the way they're saying it, but they're saying it in a different way.
yeah,
How many
yeah.
bodies your soul in them traits of them babies? But
Well, because they're saying they leave a piece of themselves
Of
behind
themselves
in you.
behind,
listen,
yeah.
I think, shoot, I'll be thinking anything possible, honestly.
You know what? And when I saw, okay, so how do I feel? Okay, so when I hear the word soul ties, I think I always think of it as not an actual soul tie. For something to tie, you need two ends to come together to make a tie. Usually, when it comes to soul ties, there's one person doing this and the other person doing this, so there is no tie. It's a lot of times an obsessive something, because I understand what it is to not be able to let somebody go. I have been in that relationship where I have been obsessed to a certain extent with someone, and it was incredibly unhealthy because that other person did not reciprocate. So I sat and I thought about what it was all about for me personally. In that instance, I remember I resolved it to myself as, okay, this is a person that at one point in time I felt like we had a great connection. And it was mutual as far as I understood it to be when we did have that connection. Eventually that fizzled out, but I was still wanting that connection that we started out from get-go. And unhealthily, I'm I kept trying to hold on to that connection, even though that person was no longer connected to me in that sense. So what I'm doing this entire time is I'm trying to make that person remember. No, remember we had that connection. Remember you loved me like this. It's like, no, remember I'm in there. I'm worthy to be loved like that. Why don't you love me like that? Wake up, love me like that. But I like you like Ty. I just have that connection to you so much. And because that person comes and they dips in you here and there, we automatically think they feel the same way, because oh, they can't leave me alone either, when really they ain't doing nothing but being a nigga. So in my mind, I will resolve it to be, oh my gosh, he feels the same way as I do. And in reality, no, he may feel a certain way towards me, but a lot of times they can compartmentalize sex in a way that we can't. So but in that sense, I never look at it as a tie, because if it is a soul tie and we are tied together, I'd be a wife or I'd be a girlfriend, but I'm not. So you're not tied to me.
Right. And
So that's why I don't really put too much stock in it. I think a lot of times it's something that we definitely need to get where it's a sickness. It's not anything. And because we call it a soul tie, I think a lot of times we make it more I guess, acceptable and more like, I don't know, we make it lighter than it needs to be, when really it's one of those things where it's like you got this toxic thing that's going on that you got to get rid of. And that's why it's hard to get rid of, because you steady trying to make them go, remember when you loved me, remember when we had that good time, remember. And it's one
So
of those
it's
things that
honestly
you just
just
have to
them
learn to
making it
let
more
go.
significant than it is.
Yeah. So it's like it's oftentimes it's oftentimes a toxic and many times a one-sided feeling, and it's just like not healthy. And I think sometimes I hear like, especially with that woman, where she was in that instance kind of romanticizing it to where it was like, oh no, we both feel this way, because if you both felt that way, y'all will both be together. It's like, no,
I don't know if it's always about being together versus a feeling, because it's I think, like, for me, I would say this: before any sex or anything got involved, I just remember, like, when I look at the beginning stages, I just remember like when we first hugged, and I just felt this surge of energy. Like, I couldn't explain it, never felt it, never thought. I mean, it wasn't something I made up, and I didn't say nothing. And when he said it, because I didn't want him to think I was crazy. So I was like, I never felt this before. You know what I mean? Because it's literally like, it's something unexplainable. Because this what made me start to look into just different stuff, because I never was looking into soul ties, soul mates. Have we passed each other in a lifetime before? I have never looked into any of that. I mean, I just knew that, like, with my very first relationship, I felt like I loved him. I felt like I was in love, you know, for what it was. And that's just to a certain extent. And then when I met the guy that, you know what I mean, that I felt like I had the soul tie with, I just felt like, just from a mere like hug, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt this surge of energy. Okay, so when he said he felt it, I mean, when he brought it up to me, I was like, okay, I ain't crazy. You know what I'm saying? And now you don't think I'm crazy because I felt that too. So then just dealing with that person. Did we feel a connection? Yes. You know what I mean? Was it, but it's the connection felt like like this wasn't the first time we've been around each other or something. It just started to feel more deeper, in a sense that, like, dang, why do I feel this person? And I say energy because, I mean, we all made up energy, but I just like feeling a person's presence with you and they're not around you. You know what I'm saying? And when you're there in the presence of that person, I started to feel like a magnetic spark. Like, it was one time I remember I was like, we both was like laying down and it was like a morning, and I just kept rolling over because I felt like, am I moving myself over to this guy? But I felt like some type of force was just, I felt like a magnet. Like, and I asked him, like, when I had left, I was like, do you feel like, because I mean, it's just questions like, do you feel this? And when he would say he does, that's how I knew that the feelings were, as far as mutual, than what we were feeling. Now, as far as us being together or anything like that, I don't think that necessarily mattered necessarily. You know what I'm saying? About, just because you could feel a lot of ways about a person doesn't mean that person want to be with you, or doesn't mean that that's where they at in their life right now, or whatever the case may be, or doesn't mean that y'all really need to be together. But when you start to feel somebody not just like them, you know what I'm saying, it starts to feel that they, like in that description, like, you feel like if you're not around, like, you feel like something is missing. When you start to feel that internally and you can't really even put your hand on, it's like, what are you feeling? It is like, that's why I said, like, I had to pray, like, to get off, because it wasn't so much that oh, I really want this person, I want to be with him, and I just fantasize about him all day, or think about, like, it was just about, I could feel like I could go on with my life without the person, but why is it still lingering? You know what I'm saying? Why is the energy, the things I'm feeling inside, not my mind necessarily, but my heart? You know what I'm saying? Why are those? So that just made me question, like, you know, I mean, like, I'm sure we all, even for us to cross paths on earth, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure if you do believe in the afterlife, or unless you just believe that we just ended up here, then if you believe that we've just ended up here, then you probably won't believe that we've been in each other's lives before, or, you know, spiritually, you know, in another realm or something. So when I felt that, like, and he said it, because I would wait for him to kind of say some stuff, because I just didn't want to sound like off the wall, because I never heard it before. Like I never experienced it. So I mean, I will say though, when you feel that you search in vain for it, like you get into other relationships and it's like I knew this one feeling and I'm gonna always be looking for it. So if I don't feel that feeling, that person that I'm with, I felt like in my other relationship, I was wanting that from that person. Like, please give me what I felt with that person, because I know I could feel it again. I know it can't just happen with this one person. It got that. And I'm not saying that for future relationships that it won't happen with, but it's like my heart was searching in vain for it. Like
chasing
I was
that dragon.
What you say, dragon?
Chasing that dragon.
Right.
Okay,
You know, I mean, it's just something, because it's a feeling that you just want. It doesn't have to do with anything. It's a calming, it's a peaceful, you know what I mean? And it just feels like
it feels
that
great
person.
to be in love, to feel like you light. Feels great to be on cloud 9. Feels great to be like that. I guess I viewed it in that way because I realized when I would get into relationships, like that first like week or something, it's that same like kind of cloud 9 thing, to where I'm thinking about you, to where I'm thinking like, oh my God, this is so great and stuff. But the minute I see something that I don't like in you, oh, that soul tag on that quickly. But it's other people to where it's like, no, they still have all that stuff that I still like in them that's still there. It's toxic. This ain't good for me. I don't know.
And I will say it is, you know what? I will say this though. It does bring out toxic behavior, because when it's something that you don't know what it is, and you feel like I would say, you know, different points in your life, depending on where you at in your life and what you've experienced, but you can't let go of that person. You know what I mean? So that does bring out the toxic behavior, because you will find yourself still dealing, and both of y'all, like you find yourself dealing with the person years later. You still end up in that person, and then you still trying to figure out how to let go, you know. And then you got one person, I ain't never letting you go. But why? Just let me go. No. So it does
get the most toxic situation ever.
Man, just it's like, just move on. Toxic. But yeah, but I thought the shout out to the love. I like that it was a brother, you know, he was doing, it was very nice. It was very you know, he had a little something going. He had a couple like TikTok stars with him. That was one of the guys that's on there. Where he go? One of the guys that was on there, I swear, when I saw him in person, I don't know why I thought he was a bigger dude right here. The one on the left with the black. I don't know why I thought he was a bigger dude. I remember seeing him on TikTok talking in his car about stuff, but no, he kind of a skinny dude. He really tall too. I was like, oh, I think he just got a big head. That's just why. He cool. He was cool. Everybody, the panel was good though. Everybody was knowledgeable. When nobody talking like crazy, when nobody talking nonsense. It was, you know, grown folk time. It was very, very, very nice, and I liked it. And shout out to my mama for giving me those tickets. You know, it was great time.
Thank you, mama.
All right, speaking of ratchet, you know what, I'm gonna break up some of this, because I just want us to take a time and appreciate some pure beauty, okay, of that Miss Kelly Rowland. She was doing her thing, looking fine as wine, killing it on these hoes. Y'all go ahead and get that out and take that out of home too. But I just want y'all to see how like great and elegant she always looks, and she just like never aged. I absolutely love her. She just don't.
I'm sorry, I was having a Demetrius in the background with this.
Oh, that like. All right, y'all. I saw this other thing. Oh,
but
okay.
She was
I saw this
very beautiful. I saw those pictures. She
always
very stunning. She's always been
when I watched her workout pregnant, I was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. She be doing.
They put the goals in the goals. Like, you know, sometimes when you see, this is why, listen, it don't pay to be tired and when you get old and all worn out, because some of these people, they killing the young folks. You know what I'm saying? So I need me some money. You know what I'm saying? That's why I need
that. You ain't ugly, you just po.
I just feel like when you look at some of our like people that's okay, so when
that
you
we
look
grew up with, we aging like fine wine.
Exactly. Or you look at like the parents, like if you look at some maybe our parents or like people around, like when our parents was our age, and a lot of them still look good, you know what I mean? But some people look very old and tired when they was in their 30s. Like you be like, dang, and now you in your 30s, your mid-30s, and you be like, we do not look, some of us don't look so old and tired. So guess what? And I be thinking that's because they had to struggle, they had to take care of everything, and it wore them out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I think also at that time, no, people put a lot of emphasis on, oh, you're this age, so you can only dress this way, or you're this age, so you can only dress this way. I remember when my mom like turned, I think she was turning either 45 or 50. She was almost like about to have this like midlife crisis because she's like, oh my gosh, Kelly, I'm getting older and now I can't do this, I can't do that. It's like, first of all, your 45, your 50 is whatever you make it. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be me no matter what age I am. I told her, like, there's no uniform now for 40s, 50s. Like, you gotta just, once you hit 50, now you gotta put on the moo and some slippers and you can't do nothing else. Now, these grandmas is doing it, these grandpas is doing it,
Cynthia Bailey
doing it. Oh yeah, be out here killing it. But she
Thank
looks
you.
gorgeous. She looks gorgeous.
Exactly.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna show okay. So I saw this post the other day and it caught my eye because a woman said that she couldn't this Amy Gator, I thought I put it up here for the my pictures. I guess I didn't. But Amy Gator, she said that she tweeted, I can't stop thinking about how the divorce rate for men leaving their really sick wives is so high that nurses are taught to warn women patients when they get diagnosed with serious illnesses. And according to the debate, well, I'm going to show you this video. A couple ladies on this podcast will have to put it's actually on this page. We'll have to put credits there later. But check out what this man had to say about his wife who was going through chemo.
Breast and is going through chemo, so she is bold. I always thought
sorry, y'all.
She's had a mastectomy, removal of her breast, and is going through chemo, so she is bold. I always thought I loved my wife. She is the sweetest, kindest person I know, and she's done so much for me, but I'm just not attracted to her. I know she knows because we haven't had sex in 2 months, and I can see the pain in her eyes. I hate to say this, but she disgusts me now. I just want her to understand that this isn't because she's a bad person. It's just that as a man, I want someone I'm attracted to. I don't know whether I should make something up and say that I've been wanting to get a divorce for a while, or just tell the truth. I also don't want my little girl growing up to hate me for this, and I'm sure her mother will tell her I'm a horrible person. Then again, I don't know if I want to be in my daughter's life either. She might grow up to be unhealthy like her mother. And what guy wants to be tied to unhealthy?
She was saying that he said at the end of that, and what guy wants to be tied to unhealthy women? Now, I saw a study that said, what's that? In 2015, a paper of researchers tracked 2,700 marriages and on the study of health and retirement, and watch what happened when someone became unwell during those marriages. Only 6% of cases ended in divorce. And of those 6% of cases, another study in 2009 said the strongest predicator for separation or divorce is patients with brain cancer. And usually it's the men that leave these relationships. Oftentimes the women will stay and help nurse their, sick spouse to health or until they die, till death do you part. This man here, his wife was going through chemo. And not only did he say that she disgusts him, he couldn't help it. He also turned around and said he also didn't know if he wanted to be in his daughter's life, because what if she had cancer and he was attached to these sick women, if you heard. So what do y'all think about all of this here?
I think it's shallow. I just think that, Of course, if I'm sick and deteriorating, I don't look the same. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been around many people with cancer. My grandma had it, and I remember her skin complexion getting really dark, but she didn't lose her hair. I had a couple people in my family that had like maybe breast cancer, but it wasn't like, it didn't get to the point where they were deteriorating. But I remember when I was pregnant, I went to a baby shower out here, and it was this little girl that had cancer, and she gravitated towards me, didn't know her at all. And I remember, I have a picture with her. I need to find that picture because she actually ended up passing away from me. But I remember I was holding, she wanted to hold my hand, and just how frail her hand felt. And I obviously didn't know how she looked before, because that was my first time meeting her to where she was in her life and her stage of her illness. So when I came across her mom's page one time, and she was basically doing everything she could until her, because basically she, I think she had remission at one point in time and she was doing good, but then at this point in time in her life, everything was failing. They gave like a time and just basically said, whatever it is that she wants to do it if you can, and everything like that. So she had like a GoFundMe. She took her to Disney World, and I did go through back in her pictures, and I got a chance to see how she looked before the illness started to take a toll on her body. Very completely two different images of that young girl. But I just remember holding her for her hand, and I just feel like I didn't know her, but I still had a love for her, and I had felt sadness for her. If I'm your wife, and this is supposed to be till death do us part, sickness and health, yes, I'm not going to be so much pleasing to the eye, but I still will hope that you found some beauty in me and remember how I was. And the fact that if I'm deteriorating this bad, I am losing this battle. I'm losing my life. So guess what? If I die, you know what I'm saying? You're not even going to be with me anymore anyway, because you'll be able to go. So why in this moment, the love that you have for me, you should embrace it and embody those moments, nurse me to health, because if it was you, I'm not going to be looking at you aesthetically. I'm still going to be looking at your heart, your soul, the reasons I fell in love with you in the first place. I mean, it's people that get burned and their exteriors, they don't look the same at all, and they're not given necessarily always a sentence to die. So this is who you're going to have to end with. You're going to end up with this for the rest of your life until I do pass on. So don't take on those vows in that marriage. If you really, because you have to think about that, I may not be the same. You may not be the same for the rest of our lives, or whatever the case may be. If that's not what you want to do, and you can't accept that, then you shouldn't marry me. See, because some people get married for the wrong reasons and they don't go as deep. And I may not always be aesthetically pleasing. Like God forbid something happens to me, and then you're gonna make me feel more worse than what I feel, because now you don't supposedly love me or want me anymore. Like, just don't marry me.
Right. What you think, Leo?
I think in these particular situations, I think these are just selfish people anyway. So regardless if they were married to somebody in a relationship, they would probably do the same exact thing. I think also potentially the study is kind of, it's not whole, it doesn't give you a lot of background, because I have worked in oncology as a nurse. I've worked in a lot of different areas, and to be honest, I do see a lot of couples actually stay together and they're very supportive. But I think what they're not like mentioning when it comes to women is oftentimes what I do see is that women who are in a terminal type of state, they're more often, the reason the women are getting left, I think, more often than the men are, because the women are more often to say, I want you to move on past me. I want you not to stay here solely because I'm dying. I want you to have a life that, I want you to move on and find somebody new. Whereas men, unfortunately, most of the time are babies, and they want to be loved until the very end. They don't even want you to think of life after them. And so men are typically not going to be those ones that say, hey, I want you to move on with your life. I want you. So a lot of times you'll see women who will tell their husbands, move on because I won't be here in such and so months. So I think it may be a little bit of, you have to look into what's the reason that the men will divorce the woman and other stuff. Because there's other factors to it. But this particular guy they read from, of course, he's just a D-bag.
Wow.
You're talking about how she's not attractive because she had a mastectomy. You sound like a whole D-bag. Like,
And then your daughter, oh, I don't even be attached to my daughter because she might have it too. Like,
right, that's just an unnecessary person. That person is probably a D-bag when she met him. She probably shouldn't have never met him. Well, maybe should have married him, put it like that. Like Demetrius said, a lot of these people get married for the wrong reasons. They weren't married for the right reason to begin with. So that person seems like a terrible person anyway. But there's often time where there's a lot of men that are single by themselves, dying by themselves in general because they want to do the most in the streets. So
right. I'll be one of those women though. I don't want to see you move on. Stay with me until I die, and then move on.
After me.
Right, like I don't go move on because I mean you you gonna move on anyway when I die. So just stay here.
Or do it while they in the house. What was the one? B what you call it with her husband? She had dementia and her husband had the whole white woman.
In the house
that he was dating while she had in the house with her. Being friends with her. That
and he like she ain't gonna remember this. She ain't gonna remember this at all.
Know you had,
and that's trifling.
Like, what is this? You ain't know that? What was her name? B. She was a B. Is it B. Arthur? She was a. Let me look it up. I want to say her name was B.
No, don't listen, because even till death do us part. Listen, if I marry you and I'm still in love, I'm gonna see you in the afterlife. We ain't over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even want you to get remarried.
Like, he's gonna see his new homegirl in the afterlife. He's like, I'm gone.
Like, don't.
All right.
I knew of somebody in the way. When I'm thinking about the timeline of how it went, now his wife was dying of cancer, and when I think of the timeline it came on, he has some overlap going on too. Because when I gotten with him in November. His wife had just died in June. And then he told me there was somebody before me that he was dating. So I'm like, so at what time was you able to kind of help and, resolve and make sure your kids was okay with their mama dying? Not okay with their mama dying, but help work that through it. And you have a relationship. You on your second one since your wife done died in June. What?
He just made sure that life insurance was intact because she was on her way out the door and he was trying to get somebody else so he gonna live the good life.
He was trying to get somebody to be his next wife so he could take care of them kids.
The author is Dorothy.
Not B. Arthur. What is her name? Just a black woman.
Dorothy.
It's a black woman.
Golden Girls. You got a little Dorothy.
Let me see. I know it's B something. What's that?
There's no place like home. There's no.
No, not that Dorothy. I'm talking about Golden Girls.
Dorothy.
She's the one who her mama was always talking crazy to her.
No.
Anyway, go ahead.
What is that? Dang, what is? I'll find it. I have to find it. But oh boy, it was years ago. It was in the news. The wife had dementia, and because she had dementia, he had him another whole girlfriend. He was still taking care of the wife and stuff in the house and stuff, but he had him a whole nother girlfriend there, and they all hanging and everything. And the girl the woman who got the dementia just thinking they all just friends and stuff. And because she don't know no better, she got dementia. He had his whole mistress up in the house with him, kicking.
I mean, I'm about to say maybe that ain't so bad. Like why I gotta be in the house? But I don't remember nothing. It was just my friend. Did the new woman take care of her too? Because I mean,
I think she did actually.
So that's nice.
Like that's foul. That's bogus. How you got this woman up in here with your wife? And in some ways, I was kind of conflicted too. I ain't even gonna hold you. When I first saw that story, I was kind of conflicted too because I'm like, well. She got dementia. She don't know what's going on. And then usually when you got dementia, like the Alzheimer's stuff, it ain't too far behind that you gonna kick the bucket. I ain't trying. It's like, yeah, you do like till death do you part. But it's like in the meantime, you would hope that you're still going to love me and cherish me. I think what it is we see those movies and stuff where, you know, that husband lovingly cares for his wife that he's loved this whole time to the end. And, you know, he mourns her when she's gone. When in reality, many men probably had their woman lined up. And then as soon as you kind of get the bucket, 3 months
let's
down
get
the
married now,
line, they
boo.
getting married again.
Right, because sometimes it just makes you wonder what you was doing while I was here. I want you to be sad, depressed for a little bit. I mean, because I just can't get up, you know what I mean, can barely eat. When I leave, I mean, that's just how it should be. I know if I love you, I'm going to be sitting there sad. I'm not going to be, you see, like Greg and Nene, they gave her a lot of slack because man ain't been in the grave that long, and she was out in the club with the new man.
Right,
and
right.
She said they was supposedly not together before. I mean, like when he passed, and he was.
What that mean?
And he did. They said he did say, like, you know, go on, live your life, but like, especially being on TV, I wouldn't have, like, she moved on. Seemed like she moved on
real quick. But did she move on with allegedly a married man herself?
Because she probably didn't like him when he was here.
Exactly. This girl I went to school with, now I don't know all they little dirty secrets that they had with the guy that passed on and her kid's father. But when I tell you she popped up on the scene with a new man, somebody else we went to school with, people wasn't here for it. We didn't want to see that. Honestly, we didn't want to see that you move on that quick. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if he cheated or whatever you find out, but we didn't want to see that because y'all wasn't telling y'all business when he was alive. So nobody knew if he was cheating on you, doing you dirty. But when he left, it's like you just popped up on the scene with a new man so quick, and now she got a baby with him. So it's like, no, a lot of people, and I'm sure if I didn't want to see it, I'm not even connected or attached to y'all in no type of way. I just knew y'all from school. I'm sure the family, like, oh girl, you could have saved that. You know, you don't have to.
And that's what I'm saying. It gotta be so disheartening. It's disheartening to me as far as like marriage. And don't get me wrong, I be thinking some relationships, some marriages be shams anyway. But it's one of those things where, you know what? And that's probably honestly why I don't care to be in a relationship these days. Because a lot of times, and don't get me wrong, even from my perspective, relationships are very conditional to some people. And honestly, your aesthetic is what gets you in that relationship. You haven't been in a relationship with somebody, or you seen a dude with a chick and she crazy and she don't do nothing for him and she stress him out, and you be like, well, what you with her for? Oh, because she cute, she got a big booty and stuff. It's an aesthetic that keeps you there. But then I've also been in relationships where I felt like I wasn't valued for who I was as a person. If certain things dropped off, or they would say little stuff like, Kelly, you ever thought about doing this to yourself to make this or do you ever thought about doing this? Or, oh, you should wear that, or you should do that. It's like, so the fact that I'm quirky and I like, you know, I don't know, popcorn with raisinets, and you know, I'm just fun to be around. That's not something that you want to latch on to. You always talking about something that got to do with my aesthetic. Like it's almost disheartening because it makes you think, do dudes marry you just for you, or is it just more of what you look like? It's almost like,
oh man, because some men marry for the I heard a podcast, but some men marry for the wrong reasons. That it ain't got nothing to do with how she looked. It could just be I cook, huh?
If she could take care of my kids,
yeah.
That too old not to be married.
Yeah.
So
that sucks, and that's what sucks in the aspect of marriage, and that's one of the reasons why I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to go there. That's one of the reasons why I never minded. I don't care about ever being married. If you want me on something as my spouse, sign it on the dotted line. Ain't none of the marriage can do that somebody signing on the dotted line can't do.
And honestly,
I'm married.
My exes, two of my exes that then got married, I wouldn't pay to be in they wife. One got an ex-wife. I wouldn't pay to be in her shoes. I mean, he did take care of her. I kind of, you know, because I said, you know, in the 50-50, I would have liked you to take care of me. But other than that, I wouldn't pay to be where she was, because unfortunately, just, you know, being the one that you still trying to talk to, and then my other ex, you know what I'm saying, still is like reaching out. And it's like, if I was married to you, you would be doing that same thing to me. So it's
That's
like,
the other thing. I can't
I'm
tell you how
like-
many people, how many DMs I get from somebody who done just proposed to their girlfriend, or got a whole family in their picture, or just announced, oh my gosh, she the love of my life. Or every time you turn around, you talk about family.
and who was I having that conversation with that I needed to? Because my one friend was saying, you be attracted married man. Not, first of all, my exes, they wasn't always married, and then for them to get married and still be contacting me, I have attracted them before they was married. Now I've decided I was in Walmart and this guy was trying to talk to me, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna ask him, was he in a relationship? I didn't ask him. I didn't even think to ask about marriage because he ain't had no ring on. So I said, I think he was trying to talk to me, and I didn't give him my number. I said, follow me on social media, you know.
That's not going to be mad too. Here go my Instagram.
I'm trying to get my business and stuff together because he ended up ordering some food for me. I was like, yeah, but okay, so after he followed me on social media, I was like, oh, by the way, are you in a relationship? And he said, yeah. Why are you trying to talk to me? So then after I said, well, listen, since you're in a relationship, you know, since we did discuss about like the business I do or whatever, and I sell little treats and food and stuff, you know, whenever you want to purchase some, we'll just keep that at that, right? When he added me as a friend and I accepted it, the Negro was married. And I'm just like, so he ended up buying some dessert for me, and you know, he's like, so I can't get that number. No, but you and your wife can enjoy this cheesecake.
Thank you. Like
I know. I mean, if I had never thought to ask, I never asked the man, was they married or was they in a relationship? I just assumed that if you were approaching me, that you were single.
Let me tell you something. I assume every dude that approached me got a girlfriend. Every single one. And I don't know, that could be my hurt or whatever it is, but most of the time, no, I've not ran across a dude who does not have one. They don't care. And most of the time, the one that's slick and quicker to talk to you be the ones that definitely be in a relationship. So it's like, I don't trust none of them. Or you can't have no friend. You ain't trying to be my friend. Get on my face.
Nah, I'm not even trying to go that route. I just, at the end of the day, I want, hopefully, like, you know, I just, if I'm getting married, just listen, be done with playing the field, or I don't have to be married. Like, it's just, what's the point if it's just gonna be all bad, you know, downhill? Like, I mean, I know we're gonna go through some stuff, but I ain't trying to deal with no other women.
This is true. Well, speaking of marriage, and before, you know, just to close out on this, just fun something. I remember LB sent this to me, and I had seen it previously about this height, reaching these heights, going, you know, these chairs. I believe they're in China where they go up. Would you ever do something like that?
No.
But I also saw this one here. How about this? Would you do something like this? This couple here had their wedding.
What the hell?
On top of a mountaintop where they
how do you even get on that thing?
And had their wedding there. Would you ever do that?
So they have to have no shoes on, right?
I guess so. Yeah, because that looked like a really thin net.
Right. Now, listen, just my luck, my foot done fell too.
Yeah, that
girl, no.
That looked like, oh no. You see, they ain't moving a lot. He ain't dipping too quick.
Right, because your foot fell through a hole, and then now you gotta be trying to.
Now
somebody gonna think it's raining below us because my foot gonna fall through the hole, and it's gonna be.
I know some black folks to, you know, try their chance at jumping out of a plane, but white folks, I tell you, if they ain't wrestling alligators, you know what I'm saying, and playing with tigers, or even the people in the back, like, they will risk their lives.
I remember seeing a joke, and I don't remember if it was a joke that I saw of somebody was kind of turned. I don't remember who it was, but they was basically like, white folks do stuff like that because they ain't black. Like, you know, black, that's your risk to go out. That's your, ooh, let's see what happens. So white folks got to make up shit for them to do. For them to be like,
risking my life just to go outside that house, girl. Get in
the funny thing is that I actually want to go skydiving one of these days. But them stairs, honey. Because that's the kind of stuff, like, there's no rail on the side to, like, save you. They was just, like, straight up. And what if you like, oh, no, you get dizzy in the middle. You just roll right on off.
Man,
I'm
just
like,
a
oh,
little
somebody. And I yeah, I need some type of harness or something. Like, like flat. And my feet feel, when I get certain, like when I get like high on something, my feet, I always use the term airy, like, oh, because it feels like there's nothing but air be underneath my feet. I start to feel so weird. I can't.
Yes.
Me, my feet start to get a little. That's when you always get into your head, like, what if I fall? What if I fall? And that's when you lose your balance.
Yep.
So I can't be in nothing like that without no side rails. Why ain't no side rails? I don't understand.
Yeah. Or is it? That's I cannot.
And the stairs ain't even wide enough for you to try to get down and do the crawl. Like,
you see, she ain't go all the way up there to the tippy top. She got about mid and was like, "Yeah, we're done."
That wasn't even mid. She got about 5 steps up. Like, no.
She was like, I've seen different videos with them Koreans or the Chinese, you know, the
Asian offended like 5 different groups.
Right. I mean, because forgive me for I know not what I know. But I just don't know, you know, who is who sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't be wanting to offend nobody. So I try to mention them all, the ones I can remember. But nonetheless, I've seen them in their videos and they be testing them heights and it be like the glass and they be walking in, and then they be so scared or they be laying in the sky. Yeah.
Because the one that has that glass illusion that makes it look like as you step on it, it's breaking. Now that one even.
Them ain't just white folks, them too, and them eating and then testing their lives.
Girl, have you seen the one with their two? It's like these two, like high peaks, and then there's like a glass in between them for you to walk across. And I was like, I think not.
No, I can't. Look, I don't want to flirt with disaster. We gonna get that one day, all of us.
You don't play with death.
I'm not about to like. However it is that I leave here, I'm trying to minimize what I can control.
Exactly.
And how I end it. You see what
I don't want to contribute to it.
Exactly. You know? I always say some people leave here because of the actions of their own choosing, their own doing. Like, and some things are just pure accident and they can't help it. You know, everybody don't die when they jump out of a plane, but you have had I seen a lady on this girl did my hair. And she was actually on a TV show. Her hairstylist would, I forget who came up with that show that whoever hairstylist did your hair wrong or something, you could confront them. Well, her stylist was on that show and she went ziplining and she fell to her death. And when she was out of the country, and it just makes me think like, you don't know when you're going to be the one that dies.
Zipline is fun.
I hear a lot of bad accidents.
Ziplining,
but
I've done the one where you have the safety harness where it like stops you if you go a certain speed. But I had the one where you've actually had to be your own like brakes. I love it. The thing is, like, zip lining for me at first, I have problems with heights every once in a while. The zip lining at first for me, I was like, oh, it's terrible. But it's like when you're doing it, you almost feel like you're sitting down, so you actually don't feel like the.
I like zip line. I don't know how high I will go up, because sometimes I'll be thinking like, okay, how far can I fall before I die? You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I did zip line in Vegas, and that was pretty high, so I could have died.
You wouldn't have wanted to go with me in the Dominican Republic. We zip lined over the rainforest.
Yeah, I hear a lot of bad stories about zip lining. I don't think I ever want to try it.
I'm gonna send you a video of my friend getting stuck on the zip line. She screamed bloody murder.
Yeah.
It's just something. So that's why I feel like, you know, if it's something that I can control on my doing, like, for example, I'm not gonna go out here and drink and drive. You see what I'm saying? Where I can kill somebody or kill myself. Now, granted, if somebody hits me, that's not something I can control. Right. But I can control my actions.
Minimize it as much as possible. Though.
Yeah. If I go walk on some
wake up and be like, man, I never did anything fun in my life, so no, I got it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go sit and get married on, like, you know how some people try to get that picture in that mountain and they fall off the cliff.
Yeah. You hear about that a lot. That breeze up top. Yeah.
I'm not going to the edge of a mountain just to try to get the best pics and then tip over. Nope, not gonna be me. I try to watch out for high windows, leaning on them, because I've heard people fall out of a window and fall to the ground. So it's a lot of things that I be trying to be very cautious of You know what I'm saying? When I'm like in certain places. So
Thanks to 1,000 Ways to Die. It made
I'm not
everybody
trying
more
to
aware of.
like I'm not trying to eat myself into an early grave. I'm not trying to smoke myself into an early grave. I ain't trying to crack myself out to a early grave. Even though I was just telling somebody because they said this girl said her whatever, somebody on Crips enough. And I said, damn, why don't they do crack? Because crack we have known for them to live a little bit longer.
Yeah, they live long. They don't really get out that quick.
So if you gonna try a drug, you know, crack, and I don't care when he said it.
I must just say, don't do it at all. Don't do the crack.
Don't do it. But I'm saying,
don't do drugs. Don't do drugs, kids.
Right, that fentanyl and all that other stuff. Like, why y'all just ain't go to crack? So, because we seen them last a little bit longer.
Cut all her conversation down. What you do crack?
I know.
Cut it all out.
On that note, do crack, not meth.
Right. I was in the DARE program in high school, and they would be in elementary. They'd be very upset with you right now, ma'am.
I was in there too, but I know some people are still living on crack. Like, so
won't they just do crack? Just do crack, y'all.
I'm telling young folks get cracked out. No, just
on that note,
right.
Y'all, thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of 3Ps on the Pod. Again, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us, comment about what you think about. Do you have a soul tie? What you think about this till death do us part? Would you be required? Let us know how you feel about this. If we basic, let us know. All of that, let us know.
Let us know what y'all think about if you was gonna choose a drug. How long could you live off crack?
No.
Once again, I'm one of your hosts today, Kelly. That's me.
JametriceThomas
and L.B Shari. Do not do drugs.
Thanks for joining us.
Don't do drugs. Don't
do it. Don't, for real, y'all. Don't do that unless it's legal and it don't. But don't do drugs. Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.